I want to talk to you about your particular sport, and cards on the table. I'm not. I never have been a great lover of horse racing. I've never been able to get invested in it. It may be because well, before I bought Crystal Palace, I had a huge punt on a horse called Seller's Flyer.
Okay,
lost a fortune, and then went and bought a football club that played at Seller's Park. Maybe that's the stigma. So I'm gonna ask you a question. It's not aimed at being disrespectful. But it's aimed at. Well, I'm trying to square a circle in my mind and looking at sportsmen because you're a sportsman. And I look at sports and I look at all these guys and all these sports where people achieve in them, and I attribute their success solely to themselves. I look at cricketers, I look at tennis players, I look at boxers, I look at footballers, and I think to myself, there's no other component part.
No.
The only part that makes you successful is your own ability. And then I look at horse racing or Formula One and I say...
Car, horse.
And does that mean then that I put you in the same bracket as being a great sportsman alongside those other sportsmen?
But you wouldn't have been without the horse or the car.
Yeah. So tell me.
I get that. I think that you need the animal, you need the car to make sure you're good at, you're good at sports. So they deserve more credit than you do, and they probably do. I always think that the horse always deserves the credit, because no matter how good a jockey you are.
Right.
But I don't know that. I'd like to say, I was just lucky and I got to be able to ride more horses that were faster than everyone else's horses, and it was just pure luck, that it had nothing to do with my ability or nothing to do with my ability to, it had nothing to do with Michael Schumacher's ability to be able to navigate his way around a racetrack because he was in the fastest car, whether it be Ferrari or whoever it was he was driving for.
So is the argument, I mean, is there a fairness in the argument, and that the best horse will win the race more often than not?
I think you do need the horse, but I do think as a jockey or a Formula One driver, you do need to be able to make better decisions more often, quicker decisions more often. You do need to make less mistakes. Then you need to be able to win more than everyone else, and you need to put yourself in a position where someone is going to want you more than anyone else. So, I do think a good jockey is more likely to win on a horse. I think a bad jockey can get a good horse beaten. A good jockey has less chance of getting a good horse beaten. Or a good jockey. Do I look at races and think the jockey made the difference there? Yeah, I do, because I think they have a better ability to read a situation quicker, to make an instinctive maneuver quicker than others. And it's like that. Do you think Michael Schumacher would just? Do you think he was just maybe?
No, I think you're right. I mean, I think ultimately the question abounds about my comparing you, I suppose, not as a great jockey against other jockeys, but as a great sportsman. And the framing of you as a great sportsman. I introduce you in this set as one of the greatest, most recognisable sportsmen, and I want to question that, because I'm looking at it going, well, what do I consider to be a sportsman? I consider a sportsman to be someone that is controlling his own destiny and responsible for his own destiny, and the only part of his destiny that he can alter is the things he does. And then I look at Michael Schumacher, and I look at jockeys, and and again, it's not me being disrespectful, AP. It's me trying to understand the dynamic and square my own circle and understand my own thinking about it.
I think you see that. I think me as a jockey, and a little bit like Formula One driver, I think even though it is a car or a horse, I do think there's a team around that as well. And to be a good sports person, whether it be a football or whatever, I think, their teams are.
But you can't have a great jockey and a shit horse, can you? And win things.
Not really. No, but you can. But as a to be, you need to be able to make better decisions. It's a hard thing to try and justify. You can't do it.
No, you don't have to justify. I'm walking you through it because I actually want to appreciate it more, because I'm ignorant about it, so I want to appreciate it more.
I'd like to think that I got on horses before that other people had ridden lots and didn't win on, and I managed to get them to win.
Right.
So I was able to work out ways of finding them to run finding ways to make them run faster, and in sport, I don't think horses. We in sport, me as a jockey, give horses enough credit, because I think the mentality of them is so important. It's all, you can all say very well, it's about their fitness levels and all that, but the mind of a horse is like the mind of a human, and sometimes when you get them to win, winning is the greatest habit to get into, and it's like, it's whether it be a boxer, some of them lose confidence, some of them get confidence, and I think horses get confidence in winning, and I think if you can teach them mentally, you know, and you think
So have you ridden a losing horse and turned it into a winner?
Yeah, I think I rode lots of horses. Not in an arrogant way, but I rode horses that had run and lots of horses that never won. And maybe people might look and say, oh, well, you just got to ride them in the right day that the race wasn't very good and you managed to win them. But I got to ride horses that won 8 or 10 and ran 8 or 10 or 12 times before, never won. And then I managed to get them to win 4 races in a row. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that, I think I'd like to think I found the key to make them. I found a way of getting them to perform, and I suppose it's like a football manager. It's like a boxing coach.
Getting a relationship, yeah.
It's getting a young person to be able to make them better, make them. You know, if you know, what's the difference between being a football manager that's don't like mentioning, but what Unai Emery has done at Aston Villa, like you think,
as opposed to what he did to Arsenal.
So you know, you think to yourself, you know, is he all of a sudden? Those players that he had, or they've turned around unbelievable in 5 or 6 months. Maybe he just got lucky. You know, I don't know.
No, of course it's not. It's a skill, isn't it?
It's hard to compare.
It's a skill.
It's hard to compare me with Unai Emery and say he's got those footballers to run more and play better than
he had some old nags before. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
How do you develop your relationship and connection with an animal then?
You see, this is the thing as well, Simon. I grew up as a kid having not really a great knowledge of horse racing, not really knowing. Like, I never got taught how to ride. And the more I get into horse racing, I kind of watch the best people, and I think, you know, this is what I'm saying about we all have opinions about who's good in sport. I always, when I was a jockey first, you know, to be a jump jockey when I came thinking first, Richard and Woody was champion jockey, and I used to look at him and thinking it was before, you know, John Frankham and Peter Score more before my time, but Richard and Woody was the best, and I didn't want to know about any of the rest of them.